The blade at my throat was cold, but her eyes were colder. 15 years, Valeth hissed, her silver skin catching the dim light of the abandoned refinery. 15 years I've hunted you across 12 systems, Commander Reyes. I didn't flinch. Instead, I smiled, the kind of smile that had earned me the nickname Dead Man's Grin among what remained of the 47th Orbital Marines. And here I thought you'd given up. I kept my hands visible, palms open. The Syndicate must really want me dead if they kept you on payroll this long. She pressed the blade harder. A thin line of warmth trickled down my neck. The Syndicate stopped paying me 8 years ago. That made me pause. Then why? You killed my sister. The words hit harder than any plasma round ever had. I searched my memory. 15 years of running, of surviving, of doing things that still woke me screaming at 300 hours. Nexara Station, she continued, reading the confusion on my face. You detonated the reactor. Killed everyone aboard. Nexara was a Syndicate biological weapons facility. They were engineering a plague to wipe out human colonies in the Outer Rim. My sister was a cleaning technician. She had nothing to do with their weapons. The weight of those words settled on my shoulders like another corpse, another name to add to the list I carried. I didn't know. Would it have mattered? I met her gaze. Those amber eyes, vertical pupils contracted to thin slits, searching my face for any trace of the monster she'd built in her mind over 15 years. No, I admitted. Probably not. I had 12 hours to stop a genocide. I made a choice. Her blade trembled slightly. That wasn't the answer she'd expected. The Syndicate told me you were a butcher. A war criminal who enjoyed killing. The Syndicate lies. It's what they do. I slowly reached into my jacket. She tensed but didn't strike. I pulled out a worn datapad. 9 assassins they've sent before you. Want to know why their bodies lie behind me? Because you're a killer. Because I gave each of them a choice. I activated the datapad, showing her the records. 3 of them took it. They're living new lives now. Names I'll never speak. The other 6 chose to fight. Valeth's amber eyes scanned the data. Medical records, relocation documents, encrypted communications proving the Syndicate's true nature. This could be fabricated. It could be. But you've been hunting me for 15 years. In all that time, have I ever struck first? Have I ever killed anyone who wasn't actively trying to end my life? Silence stretched between us. The refinery's ancient machinery groaned in the distance. I tracked you to Meridian 7th, she finally said. You were living as a farmer. You had a life. I did. You gave it up. Disappeared again. Why? Because I knew you were coming. And I knew if I stayed, innocent people might get caught in the crossfire. I held her gaze. I've learned that lesson before. I won't learn it again. The blade withdrew slightly. Not a surrender, a hesitation. You're not what I expected. Neither are you. I gestured to the refinery around us. A Syndicate hunter would have attacked without speaking. Would have brought backup. Would have used poison or explosives, or any of 100 methods that don't require looking your target in the eye. I'm not Syndicate. Not anymore. No, you're something more dangerous. I rose slowly, the blade following my movement but no longer pressed to my flesh. You're someone who believes they're doing the right thing. Aren't I? You tell me. You've studied me for 15 years. You know my service record, my missions, every decision I've made. You've probably read psychological profiles and intercepted communications and analyzed every breath I've taken. I spread my arms. So you tell me, Valeth of the Cathari, am I the monster you came to kill? Her hand shook now. The blade caught the light, trembling like a leaf in solar wind. I don't know anymore. Then maybe, I said quietly, we should figure that out together. 3 days in the refinery. 3 days of circling each other like wounded animals. Valeth, slept in 4-hour cycles, always with one eye half open, her blade within reach. I didn't blame her. I'd have done the same. "You don't eat much," she observed on the second morning, watching me ration out the emergency supplies I'd cached here years ago. Habit. Food was scarce in the POW camps. The syndicate records said you escaped Korvath Prime. Escaped is a generous word. I touched the scars beneath my shirt, marks no amount of regeneration therapy could fully erase. I survived. That's not the same thing. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, my sister's name was Lorraine. I stopped eating. She was the youngest of 7. Our mother died in childbirth. Our father raised us alone. Lorraine wanted to be an artist, but there's no market for art on a Cathari mining colony. Valeth's voice was flat, controlled. Cleaning was the only work she could find. She sent money home every month. Never missed a payment. "I'm sorry." "Your sorry doesn't bring her back." "No, it doesn't." I set down my ration pack. Nothing I say will make this right. Nothing I do will undo what happened. If killing me would give you peace, I wouldn't stop you. Then why haven't you tried to escape? You've had opportunities. Because I'm tired. The admission surprised even me. 15 years of running. 30 years before that of fighting. I've seen things, done things, that would break most people. Maybe they broke me too, and I just didn't notice. Valeth's eyes narrowed. "You want to die." No. I want to stop running. I met her gaze. There's a difference. She processed this in silence. The Cathari weren't known for emotional expression. Their faces were too angular, too alien for human interpretation. But something shifted in her posture. "The syndicate destroyed my colony 6 months ago," she said finally. "Everyone I was sending money to. My father, my brothers, my remaining sisters. All dead. I heard about the Cathari devastation. I didn't know you were, how would you? I was just another hunter chasing you across the galaxy." She laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "I spent 8 years hunting you for free because I believed the syndicate was righteous. Because I believed you were evil. And the whole time, they were the ones." She couldn't finish. "The ones who would eventually kill everyone you loved," I said quietly. "Yeah, that's what they do." "Why? Why do they destroy everything?" "Because they can. Because chaos is profitable. Because some beings just want to watch the universe burn." I rose, moving to the window that overlooked the refinery's vast interior. "I've spent my entire life fighting them, killed their leaders, destroyed their facilities, exposed their crimes, and they just keep coming back. Different faces, same evil. Then why keep fighting?" I thought of Nexara Station, of Lire, the youngest of 7, who just wanted to be an artist. Of all the names I'd never learned, all the lives cut short by my decisions. Because the alternative is letting them win. Valeth joined me at the window. Her reflection ghosted over the glass. Silver skin, amber eyes, features that had haunted my peripheral vision for 15 years. "I've spent so long hating you," she murmured. "I don't know how to stop. You don't have to stop. Hate can be useful. It keeps you warm when everything else goes cold." I turned to face her. "But you have a choice about what you do with it." "What choice is that? You can kill me. Finish what you started. Walk away knowing the man who killed Lare is dead." I paused. "Or you can help me make sure no one else has to become what we've become." "You're asking me to join you." "I'm asking you to consider it. The syndicate has a new operation, something big. I've been tracking it for months. They're planning to do to 100 colonies what they did to yours." Her eyes flickered. "You have proof, I have leads. Intel fragments. Enough to know it's real, not enough to stop it alone. And you think I can help? You've been hunting me for 15 years. You know my methods, my patterns, my weaknesses better than anyone alive. I smiled grimly. Imagine what you could do if you turned that against them. Valeth was silent for a long moment. Then she reached down and sheathed her blade. I'm not forgiving you, she said. I'm not asking you to, and if I decide you're lying, if any of this is deception, I will kill you. Slowly. I'd expect nothing less. She extended her hand. 4 fingers, 2 joints each. Silver skin cool against my palm. Show me what you know about the Syndicate's operation. Welcome to the war, Valeth. It's uglier than you imagine. I've been hunting you for 15 years, Commander. I've already seen ugly. 2 months later, we hit the Syndicate's staging ground on Thessaly Minor. Contact left. Valeth's voice crackled through the comm as plasma bolts screamed past my head. 6 hostiles, Corridor B7, I see them. I dropped 2 with controlled bursts, then ducked behind a cargo container as return fire peppered my position. Where's the data core? 30 meters ahead. Heavy guard. How heavy? 12 armed. 2 heavy weapons platforms. And she paused. Something else. My sensors can't identify it. That wasn't good. Valeth's Cathari sensory organs were more sophisticated than any human tech. If she couldn't identify something, it was either shielded or experimental. Pull back, I ordered. Regroup at no bow. Her voice was steel. I'm not leaving without that data. The locations of every Syndicate sleeper cell in the Outer Rim is in there. If we don't get it now, if we die, we get nothing. Then we don't die. She moved before I could stop her. A silver blur racing through the crossfire with inhuman grace. The Cathari weren't built for combat. They were miners, artists, merchants. But Valeth had spent 15 years becoming something else. I followed. Because that's what you do when someone decides to charge into hell. You don't let them go alone. We cut through the corridor guards in seconds. Her blade, my rifle, a dance of violence we'd perfected over weeks of training. The door to the data core loomed ahead. Then it opened. The creature that emerged had no name I knew. 8 feet tall, 4 arms, skin like polished obsidian. Its eyes, all 7 of them, fixed on us with an intelligence that made my blood run cold. Cathari, it rumbled, voice like grinding stone. How unexpected. Your kind usually knows better than to interfere. Valeth froze. What is that? I breathed. Vexar, the Syndicate's elite enforcers. Her voice was hollow. They're the ones who destroyed my colony. Ah. The creature smiled, or at least, its mouth stretched in a way that suggested amusement. I remember the Cathari settlement. The screaming was quite beautiful. Valeth's blade trembled in her hand. 15 years of hunting me, and I'd never seen her shake. But this thing had taken everything from her, Valeth. I kept my voice calm. Look at me. She didn't move. Valeth, look at me. Her eyes slid to mine. The amber was almost consumed by black, pupils dilated with terror and rage. You're not alone, I said. Not anymore. Remember that. Something shifted in her expression. The shaking stopped. The screaming was quite beautiful, she repeated, her voice deadly quiet. Let me show you something beautiful. She moved faster than I'd ever seen, faster than I'd thought possible for any organic being. The Vexar raised its 4 arms to defend, but she was already past them, blade finding the gap between its armored plates. It roared. One massive arm caught her, sent her flying into the wall with a crack that made my heart stop. Valeth. The Vexar turned to me, black blood streaming from its wound. Your turn, human. I raised my rifle. It was like throwing pebbles at a mountain. The creature advanced, shrugging off rounds that would have dropped anything else. "Do you know why we hate your kind?" it asked conversationally, closing the distance. "It's not your weakness. All species are weak. It's your persistence. You keep fighting even when you've already lost." "Yeah." I dropped the empty rifle, drew my combat knife, laughably inadequate against this monster. We're annoying that way. It lunged. I didn't try to dodge. Instead, I threw myself forward, inside its reach, blade seeking the wound Valeth had already opened. The edge found flesh, and I twisted. The Vexor's roar became a scream. Its arms wrapped around me, crushing, breaking ribs like twigs. But I kept twisting, kept pushing deeper. "This is for the Cathari," I gasped. "For Lyrae. For everyone you've ever hurt. You'll die too, human, probably." I felt something vital give way beneath my blade. "But I'll die knowing you won't hurt anyone else." The creature's grip loosened. It staggered, fell. I went down with it, too broken to stand. Through fading vision, I saw Silver. Valeth, limping toward me, her arm hanging at an unnatural angle but her eyes alive with something I'd never seen there before. "Don't you dare die," she hissed, pulling me from beneath the Vexar's corpse. "I haven't decided whether to kill you yet." I laughed, or tried to. It came out as a wet cough. "Wouldn't dream of it. The data core. We need to. Already done." I held up the drive I'd grabbed during the fight. "Got it when he was monologuing." She stared at me. Then, impossibly, she smiled. "You insufferable human. That's me." She lifted me, gently, carefully, despite her own injuries, and carried me toward extraction. And for the first time in 30 years, I let someone else bear my weight. The syndicate fell 6 months later. Not all at once. Evil that entrenched doesn't die quickly. But the data we'd recovered exposed their operations, their leaders, their crimes. Coalition forces moved in. Arrests were made. Facilities were destroyed. And through it all, Valeth stayed. "You could go back," I told her one evening, as we watched the sunset from the farmhouse on Meridian 7. My ribs had healed. Her arm had been rebuilt with cybernetics she claimed were ugly but functional. The Cathari are rebuilding. They could use someone like you. Someone like me? She raised an eyebrow ridge, a 15-year obsessed revenge hunter, a survivor, a fighter. I paused. A good person who did hard things because she thought they were right. I tried to kill you for over a decade. And now you're sitting on my porch drinking something that's definitely not approved for Cathari metabolism. She looked at the bottle in her hand, Meridian whiskey, harsh and warm. "It tastes like engine cleaner. That's the appeal." Silence settled between us. Comfortable now. Different from the wary circling of those first days in the refinery. "I never asked," she said finally. "Why did you become a soldier?" "Because I was angry, because I was young and stupid and thought violence could fix things." I took a long drink. Took me 30 years to learn that violence is just a tool. Fixing things, that takes something else. What? People. Oh, connections. The willingness to see your enemy as something other than a target. I met her eyes. "You taught me that. When you didn't kill me in that refinery, when you chose to listen. You reminded me why I started fighting in the first place." Valeth was quiet for a long moment. The sunset painted her silver skin in shades of gold and rose. "Lyrae would have liked this place," she said softly. "She always wanted to see a real sunset. On our mining colony, the sky was just round. Tell me about her. You want to hear about the woman whose death you caused. I want to hear about the woman who was worth hunting me for 15 years. She considered this. Then, slowly, she began to speak. I learned about Lyrae that night, her laugh, her dreams, her terrible taste in music, and her beautiful, terrible paintings. I learned about a family scattered across a mining colony, About sisters who fought and brothers who teased and a father who worked himself to the bone so his children might have something better. I learned about everything I'd taken away when I'd made my choice at Nexara Station. And when Valeth finished, when the stars had replaced the sunset and the whiskey bottle sat empty between us, I did something I hadn't done in 30 years. I wept. "I'm sorry," I said, and the words felt different now. Not an excuse, not a deflection, just the simple, inadequate truth. "I'm sorry I took her from you." Valeth reached out. Her four-fingered hands settled on mine, cool silver against warm brown. 15 years ago I swore an oath. I swore that 9 bodies lay behind me, and yours would be the 10th. I remember. I was wrong. Her grip tightened. "Your body won't lie behind me, Commander Reyes. It will walk beside me, for as long as we both survive." Is that forgiveness? No. Forgiveness implies I've forgotten. I will never forget Lyrae. Her amber eyes met mine, ancient, weary, but no longer cold. But I have learned that holding on to hate is like drinking poison and expecting your enemy to die. It doesn't work. It just makes you sick. So what now? Now? She released my hand, rising to her feet. Now the syndicate is broken but not dead. There are survivors, remnants, loyalists who will try to rebuild what we destroyed. You want to keep fighting. I want to make sure what happened to my family never happens to anyone else's. She looked down at me, silver skin catching. Starlight. And I want a partner I can trust. Someone who understands the cost of the choices we make. I'm an old man, Valeth. Broken bones, bad memories, 60 years of accumulated damage. You're 63. By Kethari standards, you're barely middle-aged. By human standards, I should be retired. Retirement is for people who have nothing left to fight for. She extended her hand. "Do you have nothing left, Commander?" I looked at her hand. At the woman who had chased me across 12 systems, who had held a blade to my throat, who had carried me out of a war zone, when every logical choice said to leave me behind. 9 bodies lay behind us. Not hers. Not mine. The bodies of who we used to be. I took her hand and let her pull me to my feet. "Call me Marcus," I said. "I think we're past formalities." "Very well, Marcus." The corner of her mouth twitched, almost a smile. "Then you may call me Vale. It's what Lyrae used to call me. Whale." I tested the name. I like it. Don't get sentimental. We have work to do. Wouldn't dream of it. We walked back into the farmhouse together, hunter and hunted, killer and almost victim, 2 broken people who had somehow found something worth protecting in each other. The war wasn't over. It never really ended. There was always another threat, another fight, another choice between bad and worse. But, for the first time in 15 years, neither of us faced it alone. And sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's everything.